Hi everyone, part 3 of my gun stock. I'll show you it in a moment. So far, just to recap, if you've not watched the previous 2 videos, I've got a gun stock here that had very poor, I don't know if it had been dipped or varnished with a paintbrush, but very poor quality, very lumpy, terrible looking. Probably the worst one I've ever seen. Belongs to a .22 caliber air rifle, an Edgar Brothers model .60 is what it is in the UK. So yeah, so I thought, seeing as all the metal work, the barrel, every part of the gun apart from the stock, sorry about that, choking them, all the metal work on the gun, fantastic. All the blacking, all the bluing, however you describe it, very good condition, but let down by a poor stock. So the first video, well, off video, I rubbed the gun down and it took me a total of 2 hours or 2 hours 10 minutes, somewhere around there. I had 4 half-an-hour or roughly half-an-hour sessions, but I actually think it probably took me 2 hours 10 minutes. I got a bit carried away. I had to resort to going to the rough 60 grade paper, because some of it was that thick, the varnish, it was unbelievable. It seemed to take forever. I have got very small scratches left in the wood that I'm hoping when I put the True Oil on it will eradicate the scratches and hide it. It could work against me, and the more layers I build up, the more it shows the scratches up. But if it was a top quality gun, or what I consider an expensive top quality decent gun, I would go the whole log, and I wouldn't be putting any more True Oil on it now. I'd be stripping it all back, because I wouldn't be happy with it. But even if I give it a couple of more coats, even with minute scratches under the well, I won't call it varnish because it's True Oil, but under the effect of the shine, if you look very close and you can see a few minute scratches, I'm not too fussed, as I say. If it was a higher end gun, more expensive gun, then it you know, things would be different. Maybe, I don't know, but I'll show you. I'll give you a close up. Hopefully the lighting's not too bad, because I've been playing around with the lighting in my man cave. It's pretty difficult. It's only, I don't know, I think it's 6 foot wide, my man cave, but it's very long. It's about 19-20 foot long, so it's hard. Well, it's hard for me to light up anyway. I'm using a combination of tungsten lights and ring lights, but I won't go on. I'll show you the scratches, and then I have some wire wool that I'll show you. I'll put some gloves on, because my son tells me, when you be careful, Dad, when you use that wire wool, because when you get little bits of it in your skin, under your skin, starts going rusty. Now, I haven't got much experience with wire wool. I've always been a sandpaper user in all of my life. I've always used sandpaper. So in a moment I'll show you the small scratches I was just on about, and then I'll take the gun outside. I'll put a pair of gloves on, and then I'll buff it all, well, buff it up, rough it up, whatever you want to call it, with the wire wool, and then I'll give it 100% coat of True Oil with no white spirit in it this time. But I will try my finger this time and see how good that one is, because it's going to have at least another 3 coats. So right, I'll show you the small scratches I was on about, and then I'll get outside and start roughing it up or buffing it up. So I've zoomed in on the sort of area where your hand goes around, just beyond the trigger guard. There's some very small, I'm not sure how well or good or bad you'll detect the small scratches, but I can see them there, so I think the camera will pick them up. But other than that, it's quite good everywhere, to be fair. And there's a couple of odd little dinks where it's not flat, but I didn't notice those when the gun was dull, when I was rubbing it down. There's also some very small scratches over there, but compared to what it was, to be fair, it's $1 million compared to what it was. So not making excuses for a poor job. And there's also some scratches on this part here that I'm hoping, as I build the layers up, they disappear, but whether they will or whether they'll be exaggerated, I've yet to find out. But right, Take it outside and buff it up. Looks like we're about to get some rain, but it doesn't matter because my camera's waterproof. Right, there's the wire wall. Gloves on. Get rid of stuff. Nice and clean, ready for the next True Oil. Neat. Right, as you've just seen, I've just got wire wool. Give it a good old buffing with wire wool. It's all dull again. There's not really any shine, very, very slight shine. So True Oil this time. No white spirit, just neat. So I don't know. Let's see how this goes on neat with my finger. I must admit it did go on quite good. Unusual smell. It did go on quite well with the kitchen towel paper stuff. I'm very tempted to use that again. I'll tell you what, I'll use this. It's got to be rubbed down yet again. This won't be its final. This won't be its final job. It's going to have at least another 3 coats. So I'll try and do it so you can see it. Feels different when it's just on its own. It was really smooth to put on. It's not so much like water now, but you can feel sort of when you're over rubbing it on that bit there. Then it felt like I was rubbing it in and it went sort of dry. Not the same, definitely not the same without the white spirit in it, but we'll blast on and then I'll leave it to dry overnight between every session. Now the next one, I'm not going to bother trying to rub it down with anything. I'm just going to build the coats up. I'm getting all over my table here, not a good idea. I don't want to ruin my table. Difficult there to do where it's hanging up. I know you can't see around this side, but I'm sorry about that. I'll let you see it in a moment. I'm going to resort to my finger. That's what I'm going to do. Well, that feels smooth. It really does. I'm fighting against the resistance of this wire. If I'm honest, I prefer working with it with a little tiny bit of white spirit in it. It seems much easier to work with white spirit, but it's much harder to do the piece at next time I do this I'm going to start with this piece at the top. Weird stuff to use this with your finger. Never done it before. It was really strange. It goes easy, slippery, and then you start feeling resistance. Very strange feeling. It almost feels like I'm probably putting it on too thick. Right. I'm going to resort back to this because that just don't feel right. That don't feel right. Can't explain it. It's very strange. Oh, that's it. We've had enough. And my hands are sticky. After giving it its neat coat of True Oil, it was a bit of a weird experience, to be fair, putting it on. So that's had one neat coat now, and it didn't feel right on my finger. It felt sticky and sort of somehow weird, so I resorted back to the paper. But whether I've put it on too thick or what, I don't know. But I'm very likely going to rub it down again with the little scratches at the top from my sandpapering. Look there. As I build the coats up, I was hoping they were going to disappear, but I doubt they will. They'll just, hopefully they might mask it a little bit. You never know. But whatever happens, it will be an improvement on what it was. But it's not a, I suppose that's not good enough if you're doing, trying to do the best job you can. But I shall give it 24 hours to dry. There we have it, but I won't be using my finger again, that's for sure, and the next time I do it I won't even be hanging it up because it's difficult to get to the section where the wire is there. You have to keep tilting the gun over to an angle and you just can't access it very easy. So I may just hold it with a trigger guard. Just wash my hands as well. I've got that stuff all over it again. It's almost like a thinner version of sticky toffee. It's weird, it's very difficult to explain. But there we are so far anyway. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. But as I say, it can't be anywhere as bad as it was. Thanks for watching anyway. Take care everybody. Till the next one.